I pushed the male like really hard, combated him heavily, killed him, and just side multiple clutches. And at the end of it, he came out and just collapsed, and I walked in one day and it was dead. No idea why. And I can only assume there was nothing wrong with the snake, vet sheep, nothing wrong with it, no tumours or anything weird. And I put it down that because the past 3 to 4 months, he'd just been cycled, no rest time, no downtime, like push. So every season I do a breeding plan. So I'll sit down and I'll look at my males, and I maximise my males now at 3 girls. That's it. That's all I'll do. 3 girls. If I want to do 4, something else has to drop off the plate. So I tend to prioritise my animals. I try to prioritise my animals' health over pushing them to breed. I know you can breed stuff at 18 months. I know I bred a couple of males last year at 18 months. And I think they can suffer for it if you try to combat, an 18-month-old animal because you're pushing it, you want it to breed, you really want to, I really want to put this with that, and you try to combat him, you can have a detrimental effect to that animal as well. That animal can be put in there with another male. He can go, oh shit, I'm scared. I'm going to hide in the corner. It doesn't matter what you do. That animal's done. You're not going to breed it. Other animals, but I think they're not as virile as Brent alluded to earlier on. You look at in the wild, 18-month-old male coastal is not going to outcompete a matured, 6-kilo male that's a seasoned veteran of the mating season. The only way a young male's going to get in there is if he gets a sneaky one on the side.
Yeah.
Listen,
that's it.
Let's, Brent, what do you think? Any input on that?
Yeah, I think if you really want to get an indication of how stressful breeding season is for both males and females, we all push these males. I've had males do 6, 7 girls in the season. And until you take a young 18-month or even a 2.5-year-old Jaguar male, and then you go and run that through 5 or 6 girls and look at the neurological issues that thing will develop through one breeding season, it's unbelievable to see a perfectly healthy animal showing no issues through that cycling, whether the extreme excitement, extreme stress of the mating sends them crazy. And more so with girls I've seen too. Obviously they've got the egg laying duties, punching through that clutch in one season, and suddenly you've got a perfect female jag who's now the most not normal looking jag you've ever seen. And I think that says a lot about the stress that a normal wild type animal can hide very well, and we don't see it. So we think, oh yeah, they're bred at 18 months, they're fine, we'll feed them back up and they'll go again at 2.5. And I think Jaguars highlight that, it's easy to see the problems. And I think we push them, even the normal animals that breed at 18 months, 2.5, 3.5, we back them up year after year after year. And I see it with Jags, you just repeatedly try and back them up over and over. It's not good for them. And if you've got a Jag girl who's done 5 seasons straight, you're going to see some serious neuro. It's not a simple process for them. There's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that goes into it. So
I think I figured out I think I've lowered the bit rate. Sorry, this is a bit techie stuff. I've lowered the bit rate now, and it looks like the stream's a little bit more stable. So we're not as because we've had so many dropouts. Sorry, we should be uninterrupted now. So thank you, Brent. Thank you, Darren.
A question.
Hold on.
Thomas.
Hold on. Let Jared Jared's sitting there. Are you still there, Jared?
Yeah, I'm still here.
There was a question for Jared.
Okay, go.
From Jake Thomas.
Yeah.
And he's always prying for information. Young fellas.
So
he wants to know, are you still working with Black Darwins? I would just tell him no comment.
Them sitting here. So they're looking promising for this year. We have to wait and see what happens.
What is the Black Darwin? Like, is it just a polygenic thing, or you don't know?
From the info I got when I took over the project from Marty and Chris, at St. Branch.
Yep.
They said it was recessive.
Yeah.
So the male I had currently came out of two originally from the Black Princess.
Yeah.
So, but until I breed, I'm not going to make any comment of what it is, because that's just hearsay, really.
Yeah.
If other people are working online and they see what they've done, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
You really need to see the results for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's a. I
Brent
think
just
that's
held up
a.
another sign.
I think that's a very good. That's a very good thing to say, though. Is you have to be 100% sure. I mean, it's Brent's already. Brent's putting up signs again that he wants melanistic. Brent wants every. Brent. Oh God, voice, come on. Brent wants everything.
Yeah, he's on the list.
Here's the list of wants.
Oh.
All right.
That's
Wants
surely.
and needs, they're two very different things. Just remember that.
Surely that's not a real. Surely that's not a real list of what you want. You'd have it somewhere on notes on your Samsung, though, wouldn't you? What's that?
That is his Samsung he's holding up.
Yeah, no, it's his
I
$5.
got cash, $5 ready.
Per scale.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of.
Andy Sinclair said it looked like a Boland's Python, and he had another question: How do you find the Neuro in granites?
Brent?
I've seen overseas people talk about granite having its own Neuro, unrelated to Jaguar, and I've seen very limited of it. I've seen it in a normal visual granite, and I've actually seen it in one of the POS double het, like wild type animal, have Neuro, similar looking to Jaguar type Neuro, and whether they were just very weak hatchies or random things, it's possible there could be something there, but I think it's a very, very low quantity. Certainly in the lines we're working with, that's been outcrossed in the Darwins, and it's not pure IJ stuff. I think there's a lot more issues in the pure stuff overseas with reproduction and other problems, but the lines we're working with, very limited, although I did see it in one of the first clutches I did with two animals. Funny enough, didn't see it in anything in the past 2 it was only 3 years ago, 2 animals, so hopefully just a random thing that's going to be bred out of it in time.
He does,
okay.
and he does say, yeah, one of his heads has Neuro, and he had a visual with it as well. So, I don't know. I mean, I never.
Yep.
I remember the original founder male of that, especially the stuff that you're working with there, Brent. The male was, I can never say he was a solid animal, a very, very big, healthy Darwin het for albino that had like no, that was an albino. No, I outcrossed it to an albino. Shit, that was many years ago. So it was
albino,
a female albino, and she was very solid and very, very healthy. And I mean, but granites, they were so.
Oh, Rob's in their house.
They were
Finally.
they were so inbred at one stage that I think that was the only the best thing to do with granites is just outcross. They fixed all those issues overseas. As far as I know, the guys in America fixed all the issues with the granites. It was just outcrossing. So, but that's a long term process. But Brent's probably the biggest authority here in Australia at the moment with the granite stuff. So I don't know.
Outcrossing seems to fix everything, not just in granites, in so many things. The outcrossing is the key to opening up that DNA, get some more genes in the pool and get some decent stuff. Anything that's rubbish, it'll get washed out in time. So
tell me, Jared, with what do you have you done much outcrossing with the project that you're working with, or is that something you're thinking about doing in the future?
I'll definitely do some outcrossing with the secondary line once we get some more vehicles up the side.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they're producing what I think they're going to.
Yep.
And same with the hypermel stuff. They'll be outcrossed as well, just to get them a bit better blood into them.
I suppose for you, Jared, particularly with the hypermelistic Darwin, the priority is actually just getting a clutch. I mean, it really wouldn't matter what it is. Obviously, you'd want to try to, even if you only got a clutch out of it to a wild type Darwin, I think it's securing the line and getting some viable animals is the short term, goal that you'd want to achieve, obviously.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I always think of those lines.
Sorry, Jared.
Go ahead, Jared.
The male or the female, if male or female can move the clutch this season, I'll be fine.
As he,
So I will try them together, but I'm not going to bank on that. So I'll outcross the female at the same time. So,
yeah. But I think
so
we
if you
all,
get a clutch from hypo to hypo, that'll be great.
yeah, I think, and I think we're all at that. We all have had enough experience with snakes that we don't put our eggs in the, we don't count our chickens before they hatch. I mean, that's one of the biggest lessons you learn when you breed snakes is you never, I see this time of year, or no, it's starting this time of year. People are already showing photos of their pairings, of their mating and intertwined and stuff. And I think we all.
And then in 5 months' time, they all go quiet. Whatever that pairing, nothing.
When people start asking, so where's that clutch? Well, did you get eggs out of that? And they're like, nah, because it's way too early. I mean, it's way too early. I mean, the males are very amorous. I mean, if you give them a little bit of cooling this time of year, they'll try their luck. But whether or not their sperm's viable or not, but it's a big lesson for all of us.
Andy Sinclair.
Yeah.
One of his hats has neuro, and one of his visuals has it as well.
Yeah, I said that. I mentioned that.
And
before.
Then, you did already. Sorry.
Yeah,
I've been Colgate with the program
away.
I think Collins. Collins had much
Robin
beer.
Millen's in the house.
Yeah, I think Collins had way too much beer already.
What's that?
I think you've had too much beer already.
No, I've been sharing the show around.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Just quietly in the background.
Yeah, you can't do two things at once.
Yeah, I'll share my entire 2020 breeding plans. Here's my secret list.
What's that? Breeding plans.
Oh, hang on, let me get the black light and see what's on it.
He's notorious with that bloody notepad and pen. What is up with that? That's unique. That's a new spin on things there, Brent. Thank you for livening up the show with all our technical issues.
No problem.
We haven't had any. I think
you got the old school hey Saturday stuff.
I think this
sticky knee.
The software,
Mr. Summers.
The software that we're using, we could have up to 100 people on it, but at this pace, we probably keep it to 2.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So Andy said. Andy said, I don't even show a fraction of what I breed, let alone pairings. Yeah, I mean, I think we passed that age. We passed that point now as well, where you show off everything that you do. I mean, you still have to have some cards up your sleeve. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys have got projects that people don't even know about,
Daz does. He just doesn't tell anyone.
Nothing here. Nothing to see here.
A few moments later.
I think you learn quickly in the early years. You share all those mating, and then say, "Looking forward to this great clutch." And 6 months later, you're like, nothing to see here." It's you learn quickly. Don't share too much about matings because they're not always guaranteed. So.
Yeah, no.
So what
pretty much keep myself anyway.
So what are you guys predicting for this year? Where do you see with this whole COVID-19 thing? I mean, where's the hobby heading? I'll leave it to anybody to sort of give me the input. I spoke to Brent about it last week, but I don't know. Are you going to breed as much as you did the previous years, or how are you going to approach this season?
Me personally, I'll probably have a quieter one. Within reason, obviously you want to go ahead with your projects because a year you lose is a year you never get back.
Yeah.
But I breed a lot of pure stuff as well. A lot of that's kind of, let's just say, pre-sold. But I'll probably cut down a lot of that stuff. I mean, I like to produce things every year because I like to hold back. If I breed a clutch of pure gelatins, I like to hold some back for a good 6 to 8 months just to see which ones are going to be the nice whitest ones out of the clutch and hold them to grow back and on sell the other ones. But it in an unknown climate, it's very hard, and we still have a few months to go. Really, like you don't have to slap things together next month. I have a bit of a different approach to breeding than others, but I'm probably not going to.
Oh wow!
No.
It's all dark when you hold the thing up too. It's frightening.
Yeah. So personally, I'll wait. I'll see what it's like in in a few months' time how much economy bounces back. I know it's going to be very hard for a lot of people, but there's also a lot of people that are still working. So, I'll give it a couple of months and then I'll reassess and see where the economy's at then. But I certainly won't be. I think I did 42 clutches last year or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
I certainly won't be doing anywhere near that.
What do you
No,
think? And Jared, what do you reckon, Jared? You've got a whole bunch of extra workload on this year as well. What are you doing this year? Are you gonna go crazy with the snakes, or are you just gonna keep to the projects that you like to do, mate?
Bit of both, really. I'll wait and see what's happening in late June, July when you start pairing everything and the same turn and the economy is getting better and you can pair more together. But
Yeah.
I have the ability to hold back 200 hatchings if I have to for 2 yearlings. So it's, or even 300 if it's not a massive deal. If you need to do it, you do it.
Yeah.
I think you tap on a very valid point there too, Jared. If you're going to breed and you're going to produce whatever, for some people 5 clutches could be a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think you need to be prepared if you're going to pair animals. I think you need to be prepared to hold them back and have the facility and the food availability to do so.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another facet that it's not so much just breeding it. If it is quiet and people aren't buying and things aren't selling as easy, are you able to keep back, a pile of hatchies and give them the life that they deserve?
Yeah.
Feed them and look after them until things pick up.
And not get all stressed out and offloading stock at half the price because you just overshot the mark. I mean, I think I've seen mutations prices crash just because of overproduction in the past. Well, no, just because of guys overdoing it. I mean, we've seen it. All of us have seen it. I mean, the Jaguars, the first 3 or 4 years. I mean, how quickly did they drop in price? They were 4,500 or 5,000. Jared, what did you pay for? Sorry, if you don't mind me asking, what I didn't get from the first round of Jags that were available. What were they priced at? Those early Jags that were available. What was the price on them?
I didn't get an early one, but my first male I paid 3.5 for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were expensive. Ben Whittle, I think Ben Whittle seemed to have.
And that was never bred for me.
Oh, yeah, that's even better, isn't it? Yeah, I think I paid 4.5.
Yeah.
I think I paid 4.5 from Ben Whittles from that first lot of Jags that he got. But I mean, then you had the next year.
RPMs you got, they were called, weren't they?
Yeah,
PMs.
that's an old gem.
Oh, let's not go back there. Let's start talking about integrates
I've
next.
seen them
That
on
I'll
the
hit the topic
interwebs.
going
Oh,
again.
They're called something else
Yeah, shit.
overseas.
Yeah, shit. We don't want to go integrates. That was also a hot topic on the good old Aussie Pythons. Don't we all miss that forum? Oh man, it was the best.
Yeah, that's going back, isn't it?
Yeah, shit. The RPMs, reduced pattern modified. And then they had there was the whole. Remember, Southern Cross had the whole spiel. The whole story
Oh,
of
go and say the name, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
We all thought it, but we didn't go there, do we? No one went there.
I was saying RPMs were on the interweb, like dial-up internet as Jags,
It's the only mutation ever developed in Australia that mimics and copies an international one exactly the same way.
You wouldn't read about it.
Oh, we're gonna
Yeah,
be
you
in.
wouldn't believe it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't. Let's not. We're gonna be. All of us are gonna be in trouble for laughing at that. But it was a funny. It's a funny. It was a funny. It's almost as funny as what was the patternless jungles. What was this? Hateful patternless. Wasn't that?
I've seen het for striped jungles.
Yeah.
And they're polygenic.
Yeah. But
yeah, nice.
but wasn't the first Jared? Now wasn't the first those zebras? Remember years back the hateful. Was it hateful patternless? Hateful patternless. Advertised.
No,
Something like that.
What's that?
no, it wasn't.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So ads for hateful patternless
Yeah,
stuff.
something along those lines.
That was a crazy time of the reptile. People don't even know about that phase that we went through where, we had to find clever ways to market these animals that suddenly just appear in the country. Suddenly now they here. So what do you sell them at?
Shazam.
Oh man, the good old days. Now people are it's just commonplace. Everybody has a Jag, everybody has a zebra, everybody has
Buy 'em in
a
a pet store.
yeah, it's crazy how it's progressed, man. It's ridiculous. But RPM, I think they laid a new foundation for everybody to come up with clever names to sell their stock with. I mean, it's crazy. RPMs.
Whoever comes up with the most inventive name wins.
Oh,
It's been going on for a long time now. I remember when was it Nick Stock produced that Ghost Darwin a long time ago.
shit.
Gorgeous looking, just a freak in a clutch, just something striped and really weird and unusual.
Yeah.
We got named Ghost Darwin. Never reproduced anything. I
Gotcha.
saw when Tremaine first.
Oh, there's a
suppose-
name over in Noir.
There's a name over there for a while. Brought in Gelatins, or the first one to go. Oh, look, Gelatins.
Yeah.
I know, and I was working with Tim at URS at the time,
Yeah.
and Tim had gotten half a clutch of Gelatins, and he actually had one, and it was the most awesome looking gelatin I've ever seen, all striped and a freak one off in the clutch.
Yeah.
And Tim was telling me, he goes, "Oh, Tremaine actually hashed it and saw it, and he goes, oh, no one will want this ugly looking thing. It doesn't look anything like what a jungle's supposed to do," and send it down to Tim. Nowadays, you'd be, going, oh yeah, I'll buy that. It was wicked.
Yeah.
He had photos of it somewhere.
Yeah, was that? Well, that was on his website though. He posted that a few. I think I'd have it somewhere. Hang on, I would have that somewhere on my.
Oh, here we go.
No, I'll do it. I don't want to crash something now, but I've got a database of photos
Yeah, don't.
that I've
It was a while
collected.
ago.
Yeah,
that was probably 2004 or 2005 or something or other.
yeah, and I mean,
It was a awesome looking gelatin, but never reproduced anything either. It was just a freak in the clutch.
it was one of those snakes that everybody tried to buy it as well, and Tim just was like, "Nah, I'm not getting rid of
Yeah.
it." It's like the guy up in the Northern Territory. What was that company up? There was a snake catcher up in the Northern Territory that caught that first black princess. Remember that? There was
That's where John Wyville bought it from.
Yeah, Snakes
The original
NT.
Black Princess.
Yep.
Snakes NT, was it? I can't
Yeah.
think of the guy's name. I know who you're talking about.
Is
Yeah.
it not Reedy?
Yeah,
No,
no.
Reptiles, wasn't it?
No.
It was on a website. I remember seeing it on the
I
website.
thought
John
he was
bought
the
it
only
from
one
him.
up there for ages.
Yeah.
Reedy's Reptiles.
No. This was Snakes NT or so. I can't remember the guy's name, but I messaged him or I called him at one stage and I said, "Look, what's the
Give me that
chances of
snake."
selling that snake?" And he's like, "Oh, we already sold it." And I said, "Oh, who did you sell it to?" Snake Ranch. So it was just a short time after that. But I remember they showed a photo and the whole story was there that they found it on a road somewhere. And I was like, how lucky can you be to find a new carpet mutation? Because it's funny that not more mutations have popped up over the last few years. I mean, you look at the ball pythons and you go, but the snake catchers up in, unless people are just keeping it on the down
but
low,
the difference with ball pythons, you got them out wild collecting gravid females and captive hatching them.
Yeah.
And then they're moving on the babies. I mean, you imagine if you could actually go up and wild collect all the gravid carpets, whatever locale, and, suddenly go and get 30, 40 coastals or Bredli or Darwins, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you incubate them, the odds are bound to throw you weird and unusual stuff. It's just a, randomness of nature. It's going to come eventually. You don't know what's what, but we can't do that like they do over there. And they're collecting ball pythons by the thousands. You know what I mean? If you did the same out here, just have a look at the variation in coastals alone.
Yeah, I mean,
there's huge, tons of variance.
Yeah, I get
And
sent.
I think there's a lot more lines in the wild. Like look at all the captive bred stuff. It's all from a line from somebody, and we're working with quite a small gene pool. Whereas out in the wild, you're talking about thousands and thousands of different lines of animals. There's more opportunity for strange things to happen than just through repeated pairings and repeated used bloodlines in captivity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so no, that was an interesting part of the industry. I'm glad that it's matured a bit though. I mean, there's something to look forward. It's been I don't know if you guys. I mean, I know that I think to make the first first heads, takes a few years, and then make the first visual single gene animals, and then there's that sort of lull. I think we'll see a few new things happen this year, this breeding season. The last couple of years, I know Darren hasn't shown much, but it's sort of it feels like it's sort of it's about to erupt again with a whole bunch of new things that pop up. I'd like to see some of the Australian axanthic granite stuff from here. I think it might be a big year this year. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we'll see a few new? How are you going with the? Are you bound to hatch a few new granite stuff? The granite combinations this year, Brent, or what's the season look like so far?
Probably not so much for me. If anything, maybe some trying for some caramel granites, caramel granite jags, maybe Sunglow granite.
Yeah.
Probably try and just make some more head stuff. I tried to make some triple head stuff last year. Didn't happen. Again, 18-month-old stuff, trying to rush. Hopefully now at 2.5 years old, they'll get the job done a little bit better.
Yeah.
And trying to just make some more combos as well. I guess it's that stage when you've got a new line. Darren would have been through it with the pepper stuff. Jared's going to do it again with Enery. You need to really secure that animal first. If you've got something special, you need to ensure you can reproduce that animal at some point, whether it's you've got to keep that pure stuff there to make heads so you can always get back to the start point again. There's no point taking a new something and outcrossing it to a different species to make double heads straight away. And then you can, if something happens to that founding animal, you can never go back to the start, So I guess it's important to lock down that original line and secure it and then look at outcrossing further. So hopefully I can outcross a little bit more this year and get some double head, triple head stuff on the go for probably 2 or 3 years. So we'll start to see a lot more new stuff that's really not been seen at all. I know Darren and I are trying to do something with pepper and granite. Just the combos we can make in a few years from that with triple head animals will be crazy. It's like Darren's made last year. It'll be stuff that's not seen and stuff that's going to be hard to work out what's going on because it's when you're dealing with new combinations, you don't know what you're looking for. It's not like you can Google a picture from overseas and know what the answer is,
Especially
Darren's got that problem now with some of the stuff he made last year.
Yeah,
what is it? How do you, Darren, you
pull something out there, will you?
So
Go on,
no.
But especially with granite being so close to, where did Colin go? But especially with
Cameron's dying in a sec.
But especially with stuff that look very similar in appearance. I mean, I can imagine how granite and zebra would have like a, it would be hard to see which one's which because they're so close in pattern, and you heaven forbid you ever you couldn't even get rid of any of those animals, without knowing what they are. I think it'd be the same with the granite stuff as well. The granite pepper type things. I think you'd have you'd have to keep them for a while to really understand what they are and what they, which is which, really.
100%. I mean, with the pepper stuff particularly, it's how do you know? Like I don't know what I'm looking at. I've got stuff here, and no doubt I have other world firsts sitting here. But as I've spoken to Brent, it's like, what is it? Is it this? Is it that? It's multi-gene animals, but it's very hard to go, oh, look at this is this combination when I've not seen one. I can look at a granite jag and go overseas and go, oh, what does a granite jag look like? Oh, that's what a granite jag looks like. Oh, okay, this is a granite jag. No worries. Or it's a granite zeb or whatever. When you have a mutation that doesn't exist and there's no combinations anywhere, you have nothing to compare it to. At best, I reference a granite just purely for the similarity. They're not the same, they're different, but the similarity in appearance to try and go, if this is a granite jag, what does a pepper jag look like? And should it look similar? But I don't know. It could react completely different. And after seeing what I've hatched in the double het pepper albino clutches, I'm like scratching my head. I don't know. There could be new triple gene combos sitting there in more hatchery racks in the other room. But I don't know what I'm looking at. Part of me wants to go, hey, check this out. I think this is another potential new world first, or 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But until this season, fingers crossed, hopefully I can reproduce in a more defined pairing those mutations, and then I can look and compare. You know, and Brent said, I had a big chat to Troy Kay the day, gave him a buzz, haven't spoken to him for a while, and I think we spent about 4 hours on the phone. I think he talked for most of them. It wouldn't be me at all.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
But saying, like, part of me wants to share, you know, like my learning as I'm going along as well.
Yeah.
But then, you know, there's the other mental side of me that's like, well, I know not everybody likes some stuff, and I don't like the negativity. So, and that's why often I just keep to myself. I'm happy I'll chat to anyone. Like the amount of messages and stuff I get on Facebook, anybody message me, I'll happily help them in any way I can. Yeah. But I really struggle with posting stuff on social media.
But you also
I kind of disappear for a while.
But you also get
they're all rubbish. Just send them over to me. I'll sort them out for you, and I'll let you know in a few years.
But you also get the guys. You don't want to go and argue with people that don't know what they're talking about. You know, like you I mean,
no, that's right. And I'd rather, you know, even when I did proved out the peppers, I waited until, even though in my mind I was 99.9% positive it was a recessive trait.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I sired, I think it was about 5 clutches, I think, in one season, where I could sit there, look at all the results and go, right, there is no doubt whatsoever this is 100% recessive genetic trait. And that was when I went forward with it. I didn't even want to name it. In fact, the only reason it got the name Silver Pepper, sorry to sidetrack a little bit, was because it was going in Nick Mutton's book. And he goes, I need a name for the mutation. And I said, well, I don't want to name it because I haven't proven it yet. So I don't actually want to name it until I've proved it. And he goes, well, you know, it's got to have a name to go in the book. And that was, you know, if you actually go back in my Facebook, you'll actually find a thread I put on there ages ago looking for a name. Like, you know, what should we call it?
So the person
because that gene already existed.
So they
bedazzled.
So the guy that came up with the name, did you give him a silver pepper for free or not?
They weren't available at that point in time, mate. I'm afraid. Sorry.
Yeah,
I can't even remember when Nick's original book came out.
2010.
It was a while ago.
2010.
Was it 2010?
Yeah, you would have. But that would have happened sort of 2009. The whole discussion about what's the name, you know, when he was putting the stuff together. Jared, what's your take on the season with you know, things that you are you still there, Jared? Just checking.
Yeah, still here.
Cool.
So we're talking. Have you got any input on you know, what's your plan for the coming season? I mean, what do you think? How are you going to roll with? I know you said you can hold a whole bunch back, but what do you think? Are you expecting expecting a whole bunch of double, triple, quadruple type animals, or what? Is it going to be a quiet season for you?
There's a few things I have planned, but we'll just have to play that one by ear at the moment. They're good combos if I can pull them off.
Yeah.
So it's just, you got to keep that stuff to yourself until you have the animals on the ground, and even then, for 2 or 3 years until you can breed what you got.
Yeah, I guess your
so other than that,
I guess your
hopefully a few stuff would be nice to give Darren a run.
I guess you're
good luck.
I guess this is the competition now. I mean, these are the competition. The guys in the 3 top. I would say the guys with the projects that can yield the crazy shit are the 3 of you at the moment with the stuff that you've got between the 3 of you. I don't know. Is anybody else? Do you think
probably
anybody else out? I mean, this is just from my perspective. You know, from what I know you guys have been working with over the season. Is there anybody else to look? Is there any newcomers that you guys would go? Yeah, that guy is somebody to look out for coming in the next 5 to 10 years.
Probably
No.
Christopher Stunke, who bought something from everybody of the best they had.
He hasn't bought from.
Not everybody, not everyone, not yet. I just saw his post. Give us the geese. Maybe later, Chris. Yeah. I don't know. Look, there's so many people producing so many cool things.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of bleeding edge type stuff. I'd say if I think my pick, to be honest, Jared has some of the coolest chip and more mutations than probably anybody else on the planet. You know, he's got. You've probably got every mutation, and then two that nobody else has with the Aneries and the Melanistics. If they prove out and he goes forward, like he's going to be miles ahead of anybody else. You know, and I don't know. There's cool stuff popping up all the time. There's so many things, and I like, as much as I have a bit of a joke with Jared about the peppers and competition, I think it's good. I think the more stuff that gets out there, the more people see, the more interest it creates. You know, and I'm really excited. And there's a few other people that have peppers as well. Dave Evans has been working on some stuff. I think he's got pepper xanthe albinos on the go. So, you know, who knows what that'll look like. So I like it. I like to see. I like to get them out. I like to see what other people will do with them. You know, just from my really a fairly simple combination. Once you start throwing in, you know, 4 or 5 gene animals, the crazy shit's.
But it's good to, but it's good to, but it's good to see that stuff evolve as well, because there's stuff that you might not necessarily get to because you spread yourself, you know, over a certain amount of projects. There's, you know, you can sell one snake to somebody that has a totally different mindset about where he wants to go with those projects, and it's good to see those guys excel. I mean, I like watching. I mean, I'm in a position now where I can literally just watch and appreciate what the guys are making. Especially when there's something cool that pops up, you know, you go, man, it's like seeing that albino granite at Brent's house, you know, that orange. I mean, sorry about the language, but I've never seen that orange. You know, it's you know, Sunglow, we've seen Sunglows, but I mean, I've not seen that type of saturation in a carpet python before, and that makes it exciting. We're not looking at these brown snakes or just coastals. I mean, I remember when I got to Australia, you know, we did not have the variety. I mean, you guys grew up in a time when there were no mutations. I mean, the kids out there now, they don't realize that it wasn't always like it is now. You know, with the Jags, nothing. We had nothing. I mean, I saw coastals, I saw Darwins. I've always thought Proserpine carpets were a little bit underrated. Proserpines and Murrays. I love Murrays.
100%.
You know, good Prosy is beautiful snake. You know, sorry,
I reckon Proserpines we're getting to being the closest thing we had to a Jag with some of them. I think some of the patterns before Jags come out, Proserpines were stunning. I never had them myself before RPMs hit the market. But they were a gorgeous underrated snake, I think, Prossies.
And I don't think
you don't
anybody,
see many of them around either anymore.
And I don't think anybody did really any decent work with them. You know, like I don't think that nobody ever crossed. You know, not that I. But I mean, what's a Proserpine was just a coastal type of coastal locality. But I never, But I mean, I can just imagine what the Jags would have like that green and bluish tinges to them, and you know, nobody ever made those pairings, and you don't find, and I can't imagine when I saw a Proserpine last. I mean, they're very rare. Nobody's got them. I mean, I can't.
They're around, but they are rare.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I like. I like.
Sorry,
John Brent.
So I was going to say, as much as, you know, Daz and Jared and myself have some crazy morph stuff going on, I think there's a lot of breeders out there that are focusing on that locality stuff, like we talked about. Zamac in their polygenic stripe stuff, and what they want to then add to some genetics into that. I think there's some breeders out there really looking at different angles to come in on that. As much as everyone wants to do the morph stuff, you can't do it all. You can't have every single gene unless you're Jared Sharp, and have every single combo that you want to make. There's guys out there thinking differently, thinking we need to focus and line breed the very best stripes we can, and then turn that into xanthe stripes and albino stripes. You know, there's a whole heap of different angles to breeding, not just who can make the 5 gene animals. You know, it's some locality stuff, like some of those rare localities of like what you're talking about, if people could focus on those things, I think in time they'll become more popular than some of the crazy more stuff.
Yeah, well refined stuff. I mean, that's what we've talked about Sean Carroll. And all you need to go
Yeah.
and do is go on Sean Carroll's page. Just look at some of the diamonds. Just look at some of the stuff. And it's very, I think he still works with a lot of locality, like selective line bred jungles and stuff like that. Man, just by picking the best, you can go so far with those animals. And a lot of guys just, once the Jags came on the scene, they sort of it just went sort of on the wayside. And the guys that are really stuck to their guns with those animals, I mean, you can see the results now, 4, 5, 6 generations in selective breeding, the stuff that you like. And if you've got a good eye for what people like, high contrast. I mean, high contrast, black on yellow with no tipping. That stuff sells every day,
Yeah.
And they're beautiful.
And I think they've saved a lot of those localities, like a lot of that stuff has been almost lost, because of morphs. I look at what I've got and, every April when I have to lodge my ebook and you go through all your numbers and you look at, pure this, pure that, 2 of this, 3 of this, 1 of this, and then the Magic 2625 Marilia Spilota Unknown, 345, whereas everything's lost in Morphland, like there's the number of pure animals in some collections now is terrible. It's disgraceful. I'd like to see more and more pure stuff in collections and people trying to focus on projects based on the polygenics of pure animals, not so much the morph world. So.
But do you think there's... Go, Darren, go.
I was just going to say that's one thing I've always liked to do. I still keep and maintain a lot of pure lines. A lot of them don't see it to the public market sort of thing, but I still like to breed pure jungles, pure gelatins, bredli in the past, Murrays, striped coastals. Like I still got a ton of pure ants that aren't, crossed or mixed or everything. And I try, if ever I'm doing any of those crosses, those females I try to leave pure. So if I want to introduce gelatin into a line, for example, I'd rather use a gelatin male over a female mutation of whatever sort it is that way, and leave my female gelatin pure to be side by the gelatin boy as well. It's doesn't always work that way, but that's the way I try to do things. So, I think you can have a bit of both worlds, but it's subject to how many animals can you hold and maintain and keep in your collection. I'm sitting on well over 600 at the moment, and I know that's not everyone has the ability to do that.
Tell me, Jared, do you still keep anything locality? Or you just do? You've got. You said you have greens and olives and stuff like that. But do you still have any locality type carpet in your collection?
Yeah, I've got a couple of gelatins and other black and yellow jungles and yellow bits and pieces there, Murray Darlings and Osman.
I think a lot of
you need to have that pure base there to the breeding thing.
Yeah. I think it's always good. I think we end up with the stuff that we, the pets. I think a lot of I used to have a lot of females that I just never bred anymore. You stop breeding them and they just literally sit there. What is that? What is on your shirt? Somebody asked.
So what's the Download Festival? Download Metal.
Oh, Kerry, eh?
Yeah, mate. Keza. Yeah. No, Download Festival.
I had to tell everyone that you're friends with Kerry.
2019. No, I didn't say anything. You did. Not me.
Post a picture in the comments, Aaron. Go on. Post us the picture. Go on.
Oh, he's
no. But it's good to have mates that are guitarists in Slayer. It's always handy for content.
There we go.
Not like you're only be shy. Wow.
Name dropping. Yeah, whatever.
We found it.
I didn't say anything. You found it.
Oh shit! Okay, so everybody seems to be busy with their own little. They've still got their pets on the side or whatever, and of course, you guys are still doing all right. I mean, are you guys still good to go? We've had a couple of. I've had to restart the stream a couple of times, so you might see that there's like 3 or 4 videos on the feed. But I've figured out now how to run this without it crashing. So for a first attempt, I don't think it was too bad.
That's not bad.
I think there was a lot. I think we need to work on Jared's the next time we need to get Jared in on a. We need to make it easier for you to come in and sound.
Just a picture of him smiling or something.
Nah, you just put a photo.
Yeah, I'm on satellite NBN here. So
Satellite NBN. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like $700 a month.
Yeah.
Oh, what I wanted to say was
my latency is over 700.
what I wanted to say was Jared is one of the few
I've got a
guys.
question for
Here we go.
Jared when we're ready.
Go. That's fine. I was just shit talking. Go, Brent.
Just talking Annery because I love the Annery line, and thinking more about that, proving that Annery line out. If Jared can do Annery to Albino and make Snows and Moonglow's down the track, would that be enough to prove Annery as Annery? As it's been done overseas with the ball python lines.
Oh,
You would hope
You
so.
there, Jared?
Yeah, he's here. Go, Jared.
Yeah, it's definitely in the pipeline to do that one. But I'm pretty confident it is an Annery trait.
Yep.
So the only colours are ripping out of the animals as they mature. So when they do first hatch, they show colours which you wouldn't expect, but so some exanthics, as they first hatch out, you see colours in them which are different. But it's hopefully next year, maybe we'll see a snow or a moon.
As well, the more you've got, the better your chances
go,
are
eh?
of doing stuff with it.
Hurry up.
hurry up. Wow.
And I'll back. Tell us what you really think, Brent. Hurry up. Hurry up, you mongrel.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's been pestering me for a little while for hats, so.
Oh, okay.
So let's just see.
But so is everybody else. But
Yeah.
Give me the 100% hats, Jared. Just give Brent's the POS hats.
Off, Darren.
Oh, here we go. Now I just quickly want to go through some of.
yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
I just want to go through some of these.
Jared and I,
I'd say
Jared
that.
and I, we talk every day about it. Every day, mate.
Let me just. I'm just want to see I'm just going through the questions here and see if there is anything here that we can. If there's any questions.
Lost my nose, I think.
If there's any questions now, people can put the. And we'll see if we can get to a few of these questions. That's Andy. There's somebody just posted something here. Everybody says they need Annery, so it seems like it's in. I mean, I walked up to that display of Jared at Penrith, and it was the one that stuck out on the table. I pointed to that one without knowing that was Annery, and then I asked him, "What is that?" Yeah, that's Annery. So they are visually they definitely look different to me. Like it's from my limited experience with Axanthic and stuff, they do different straight off the bat. And how old was the one that you had there at Penrith? How old was that last year's hatchling, Jared, or was that this season? Oh, it couldn't have been this season. It was that would have been a yearling. And you there, Jared? I don't know.
Last year was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yearling, that one. Yep, yeah, that was a yearling.
Okay, somebody Moonflower and Snows. Yeah, what is a moonflower? Somebody's saying a moonflower.
So it also looks like there's some hypo Annery there as well.
Ah, yes. So tell me, are we at the
Moonflower and Snows.
are we at the point now where we're going to start making fancy names for them? That's not just Snows anymore. It's going to be like Stormtroopers and shit like that with the ball pythons. Have any thoughts on new mutation names?
I might take that and call that my albino pepper. Call it a stormtrooper.
There you go.
There we go. Some cool names that people can't confuse.
I don't think so. Yes. Annery Snow, Annery Moon, Annery Ghost, whatever that sort of stuff is.
Do you guys think?
And everything goes between.
Tell me,
Yeah.
do you guys think that people coming in that they don't know the story from 5 years ago, where where the stuff came from? Who's the like somebody said to me the other day. Was it? I speak to you, Brent, when somebody said they didn't know where the they don't even know they know silver peppers, but they don't know the origins of silver peppers. And I think that there's a bit of a lack in people
Yep.
knowing. I don't think people make the effort to learn what polygenics and
What the hell?
genetics and polygenic. What are you guys doing? I'm trying to be serious here, and he's just unraveling at the moment. So I might just stop.
I think his computer is struggling.
Oh yeah, I've got little red lights going off here, and it's saying the Steve feed's
Yeah,
unstable.
you're
and,
lagging. Yeah.
and now we're offline. So,
He's talked really fast, and really slow.
oh my, okay, we're back. Oh, it's back. It's back. I don't know. Intermittent. There we go. I think we're
That's
back.
better.
Yeah, it's cutting out. So I think for Martian minis, what is that? Martian.
Martian mayonnaise.
Shit.
True.
Look, I think we'll now that we've had a bit of experience with this. Now I can only see what you guys. I think now that we've had a bit of experience here with this sort of streaming, we can only go up from we're at the bottom of the barrel, so we can just go up now from here on. I'll go and do a little bit of digging to find out what.
It's a first crack.
Yeah, no. Drunk, yeah, if only. Would have numbed the pain, because I look at this stuff. I'm very critical of myself when it comes to this type of stuff. You know, I want this to just go without a hitch. So I think I might I'll be in touch with you guys again.
Mate, we've been on for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's saying an hour and a half, but we've been on intermittently for long. I know it has only been an hour and a half. I know Darren has to go to bed. He's tired.
No,
I'm all right at the
no.
moment. It'll be in the morning. When the alarm goes off at 4:30, I know all about it. But I'm actually all right at the moment. But I was just looking on Facebook. One of the questions Matt Trays has put up is, what gene is the best, pepper or granite, and explain why? I know what my answer would be.
You can,
to me, and
not biased.
An honest. It's an honest and non-biased opinion, and the reason I'll say is because I'd say pepper is just for the sheer lack of numbers and mutations that are out there at the moment.
Yeah.
Mutations, but we've seen a lot of this stuff in granite.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, I still love them, think they're cool.
I have to say, I think any of the recessive double mutate, anything recessive is a good bet. So if as far Jared, I think mate. Oh, we're dropping
You
again.
kick Manise out and we'll just go with the four of us.
Seriously, I think recessive is always a good. Oh my god, am I lagging? Huh?
Let's just get rid of him.
Yeah, no.
Are you lagging? Fuck.
Shots fired.
I'm gonna drop. Right. You're
Computer's got
driving me.
corona.
Fuck.
Drunk Martian.
I'm gonna drop the bit rate even more. Okay, let's see.
That was gold.
Wow.
Man, am I back or not?
Just skip up.
Fuck, seriously.
Oh man.
Okay.
Technology.
Thanks.
That
Yep.
sounds better.
Yeah.
Is it okay. I've
Yep,
dropped the.
Is he back? He's back.
I've dropped the. I've dropped the bit right now, right to the ground. Somebody said you're
Side
enjoying
effect
around
of
time.
COVID-19.
Melbourne, see?
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah,
just said with an
I'll
experience.
vote second, and I'll also say silver pepper. Jared can vote next, but I think pepper, for what Darren said, it's new. It's granite stuff we've seen overseas. We've seen everything that we're trying to make here is almost been done, except for trying to cross it into pepper. So pepper really is the new world, So pepper for me, certainly very exciting times ahead. And
I'm sure.
what about you, Jared? What do you think?
For a pattern mutation in pepper, for colour, the anery. So mixing the two together, which is going to happen next year,
Yeah.
that could be an interesting result.
That'll be an interesting result, especially when I get my double hits.
Yeah, people tend to forget that pattern
Double
and
hit?
color.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
long way down the line.
I don't know. You guys.
Oh, give up. Just in the background.
Can you mute him?
He's spraying his hands up. I did
We'll
actually
just
see that.
take
You
over
actually
the
moved.
show. Fact.
Yeah.
You're in charge, Colin. Take over, please.
You're going, mate.
Apparently, my studio is not working very good today.
Was
I
all
just-
just give him a round of applause.
I just
Great.
can't. I just can't get it. I just don't understand what's going wrong.
Great work, mate.
Ah, shit.
As much as you're going to get.
So
Have you
I,
got one of those hand grenade sound effects? Somebody needs for his computer.
I'll just switch myself off. I think
Oh, my camera died again.
I think
Oh, yes.
I think we've just
That's the
reached.
longest we've ever been.
I think we've just
Well,
reached.
this is-
No.
Hey,
What a
Brent,
show.
there's this other place. This guy, I think his name is Troy K and Wayne Larks. They do a show. Apparently, they're a little bit more professional than down there. So well,
Oh.
we should go there next.
Go jump in and see how it's done. Yeah.
Can they stream a whole show in one go?
Oh shit. Okay, they can't stream a stream like this with this much of bloody fucking visuals going on. But well, we learned our lesson. We learned our lesson. Can you hear me okay now, or am I still lagging?
I,
Right, you seem better.
Okay.
you look atrocious on the internet now.
Yeah, it's all pixelated and shit.
Yeah, it looks like a really bad Atari game now.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. That's all right. At least as long as they can hear us, that's fine. I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people forget that pattern and color is independent.
Yeah.
Pattern and color mutation. So it's a valid point that Jared brought up. That mix, putting the two together, I think is going to be that's going to be wicked. The silver pepper.
100%.
The silver pepper and anery. I don't know the aneries, but we'll see. I want to see. I mean, I haven't seen many photos of the anery, so and what Jared decides to share, it's very limited. But I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see when they get to a decent size. Like see how they develop. Do they look similar to the original one that Troy used in that pairing? Are they that like washed out gray, sort of that gray pattern, like that? The pattern looked all washed out. Do they look like that, Jared?
Some of them do, and some look completely different.
Okay.
I've got some hypo entries there,
Yeah.
or a caramel. So, and the caramel's getting stripped out as the animal gets older, and they're nearly a solid yellow snake.
Oh, Jared.
My God, how many bits of paper do you have?
It's got a.
I didn't realise we were coming to play Pictionary.
It's like Hey It's Saturday, the dude that holds the stuff up to the camera.
Yeah, we call him Dickie Brent.
Sticky knee. Just when Jared
Denise
talks,
is like, what are you talking about?
so we know it's Jared.
We won't call him Dickie Knee. We'll call him Dickie Less.
Okay.
PG rated show. PG.
Talking about colour versus pattern, I'm actually one mutation which I actually hoped I would actually crack out this year, and I didn't get the odds, but I'm actually really keen to see a caramel pepper. It's what will be probably a fairly common mutation in the future once numbers get out and around. But I'm really keen to see how that caramel pattern works with just the caramel color works with just the pepper pattern.
Yeah.
I think it would just be a really cool looking snake. And I think if a bit of line breeding in that dual mutation, I think it's just going to be a cracking morph, Personally, like with all the other stuff, I just think it'd be a nice, simple, really good looking animal.
And of course, that would give the albino pepper another spin on the color as well. Like we've seen with the.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's the sky's the limit with these mutate. Do we know how the caramel, Darren? What is the mode of inheritance on caramel? You've done a bit.
Ones
of work.
I'm working with are incomplete dominant.
Yeah.
Mm.
So okay, because it's always a frustrating. That's a question we get every.
No.
It's the
Oh, it's a hypo, mate.
it's
Oh no!
it's the eternal debate of You get that every time. Every time there's somebody that says, "Can you please discuss the hypo and the caramel?" Like,
Brent's out.
and I don't think I don't think there's. I mean, you say it's. I mean, what do you reckon? Rob McLeod's hypos. What are they?
You're asking. Well, I had.
I'm asking your opinion.
Last time I went up and had up to Wayne Deb Lark's place. Wayne and I had a big chat about it, and I think one of the things that people often forget is when you look at the term hypomelanistic, it's a reduction in pigmentation. It doesn't mean it's a genetic trait.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And when I spoke to Wayne, and from memory, it was a number of years ago. From memory, it was the same line that they called the what was the same thing we call caramel jags? Simon called it
RPM.
Orange peppers.
Oh yes,
orange pepper. And I said
this
to
is the
him,
archive. Yeah,
and my argument,
That's going
it's
back.
not so much. It's going back. Like, I understand what Wayne says. My only argument is that it shouldn't have been called hypo. It should have been given a name. If it was a different incomplete dominant mutation to the caramel gene, which Wayne has said it is.
Yeah.
I haven't worked with Rob McLeod's line. They are stunning animals.
Yeah.
If it is a different line, then it should have been given a name. And I said, if he called them originally orange peppers, which was in essence a caramel jag, then perhaps they should have been called orange coastals and kept it instead of being called hypo, because you can I've got pure wild type coastals here that I can call hypos because they are. When you compare that animal to a wild type animal, it has a reduction in melanin or black and brown pigmentation.
Yeah.
So in the actual terminology of hypomelanistic, it is true, because when you compare it to the wild type animal, it lacks that pigmentation. So a lot of people get the confusion of when they go, oh, it's hypo, and then you get hypo caramel. It's like, well, is it two genes?
Yeah.
Is it just one? Are people confusing one with the other? And I think
Super hypo.
you know, when you hear, when you hear the term hypo, like I can say, oh yeah, mate, it's a hypo jag. No, it's just a jag that has less black than the other one.
Yeah.
But people see that as going, oh, it's hypo, therefore it's an incomplete genetic mutation, which may not necessarily be the case. And like it's not a dig at Wayne. I completely 100% understand. He calls them hypos because that's what they are. I just believe it should have been given a name purely to distinguish from the common terminology of hypomelanistic. That's all. So is it identifiable as a genetic trait as opposed to just being something that lacks melanin?
I actually forgot that was because I went down there to Mark Sim was the one that I think made he owned that hypo that came. I forgot that came from Rob McLeod actually. But now that it was definitely
line,
it was from his line. I don't know how they pried that from his hands, because remember he was really hardcore not to sell any of those things. I think everybody had a plan to try and get them in a round way. You know, they wanted those, but they were beautiful. I mean, they're beautiful snakes. Those, I mean, that Rob McLeod.
They were.
They are.
Chris said.
Totally
Chris
different.
Sunke said, "He'll give you a job tattooing Brent with those skills."
Those drawings.
Maybe he can tattoo Brent with his own pictures.
Tell me, Jared.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That quality as well too.
Let me.
That's what he's after, apparently.
Let me ask Jared as well. Jared, you've had some experience with the hypo. You've worked from memory. You've worked with the hypo, the super hypo stuff from Simon. What's your opinion on the now? While we've got everybody here, let's get it out there for once and for all. What's your opinion on the caramel versus hypo debate?
Depends if you're looking at the UK line caramel, which is here now, obviously because of the or our Aussie stuff.
Yeah.
So they're obviously completely different mutations, really, when you compare them side by side.
Yeah.
That's where I think a lot of the confusion is coming in.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of, also, like I said, a lot of confusion of what a hypo actually is.
Yeah.
just has got reduced black. I mean, it's a recessive or codom or whatever hypo.
Codom. Dun, dun, dun.
Like recessive hypos would be cool, but they're a mute point, really too hard to work with.
Yeah, wait.
So the codom stuff is where it's going to be at for the future stuff.
So the because I was never party to that information to the caramel. So you reckon the caramels are definitely from the overseas line of caramels? I'm not going to hold you to it.
Lines that are here.
Sorry,
so they definitely came in with the zebras and the jags and all that sort of stuff. But I think there's also the Aussie line with this here, which is they're calling it a caramel, but actually a hypo just to try and get more people interested in it, I suppose, or who knows what the reasoning was behind it.
Yeah, it's
I think most of the hypos are caramels and the caramels are hypos.
Yeah, because I never really had we all know how I feel about caramels and hypos, It was just, it was just too involved. I just don't like the word caramel. I just don't like it. And to me, it's the same as what you say, Darren. It's hypo means reduction in melanin, melanin. Melanin. What was that word? Please say that word, Morelia, that story. Tell us that story, because that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. Please tell us that again.
Morelia.
Yeah.
Morelia. That was up at that was at when Troy K and Joy and that were doing Scales and Tails. I had I had a dinner presentation night one night, and I just happened to be out the front, and I was chatting to a bloke, and after the conference,
and
we were talking about carpet pythons and everything, and I said, "Oh yeah, did you keep many Morelia?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I got Morelia something or other and Morelia something else." And I looked at him and I said, "You mean Morelia?" And he goes, "Yeah, Morelia."
Morelia.
Morelia. And it was, it was quite funny at the time. But yeah, I tried to, like, by repeating it, going, "Oh, Morelia," like subtly. Yeah, Morelia. Okay, we'll just leave it there and carry on with the conversation, like just straight over like a 747.
Just steamroll.
Morelia.
It just
steamroll. I got the
steamroll.
sound effect for this one.
A few moments later.
just the conversation
Next
just
minute.
kept going like no. There was no.
I need that one. I'll get that next minute.
Shit.
Minute. Yeah, Morelia. That was right. Geez, that was a while ago. When was that?
Yeah, that was a few years back.
Well, it was when. Yeah, it was.
It was. You told me that story at that.
Yeah,
You told me that story at that conference that we held, and I just remember.
Is that when you guys weren't fighting?
I laughed, and I laughed.
Before the divorce.
Oh. The easiest way to get past the divorce is just confront people and get it sorted.
Yeah, we all go through it's part of this business. I don't know why it is that people have so many fallouts in a hobby that
it's an emotive hobby.
In a hobby that everybody's supposed to just love what we do. There's so much bullshit. Like, seriously.
Oh, here we go. We got another hour of this.
Like, we should be concentrating on helping the guy that keeps saying Morelia. That's the guy we should be paying attention to. Just give me a fucking smack against the head and say, "Look, come on, let's work on this. This is the stuff that we need to fix, not issues between guys that are, just like, oh, you said something mean about me on Facebook. Oh shit,
I have an emotional problem about it.
But
I've always said, from my standing and my point of view, is I'm happy to help anyone. The amount of messages I get, and I'm sure Brant and Jared and anybody else that keeps a number of animals get the same questions from lots of people. And I certainly don't engage in many conversations on Facebook pages. I'll occasionally say, "Oh, nice critter," or this if I have the time to do so.
Yeah.
But if people message me, I'll answer. I get people asking. I had Josh Festuca, I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Josh.
Is it Josh Festuca? I think he was messaging me about breeding Murray Darlings, and I'm happy to give all the information that I know, and when I cool and how I cool and temperatures and all that sort of stuff. And I've always said if I can impart what I've learned over 20 years and that helps someone else, then I'm trying to give back to the hobby. I've done talks. I've done talks for you down in Melbourne. I've done Hawkesbury Herps a couple of times. I've done Central Coast. I've done Illawarra. You know, I'm not the best. Even though I can talk underwater, I do get nervous when I'm actually speaking in public. I tend to talk too fast and carry on. But I've learned so much from so many awesome people in this hobby over the years, particularly, you know, back in the early days, 20 odd years ago, when we didn't have a lot of social media, and it was going out of your comfort zones and going to herpetological societies and being persistent and getting there and meeting people and talking to people and networking and meeting others. And if I can give back some of that information I've learned and someone learns something from that, then honestly, I don't care who you are. If you're doing something positive for the hobby and I can help you, I will. Yeah. You know, because I like to give back if I can. You know.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said, you know, like that's the only thing we can really. I mean, yeah, okay, you know, you guys will probably leave a lot big footsteps, you know, with the projects that you're working with, and you'll see other guys excel with that. You know, we just don't know. You know, we could drop dead tomorrow from a heart attack, and then that's it. And everything that we know just, you know, it dies with us unless we make a concerted effort to get it out. You know, and what.
Sorry, it's reading the comments.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yankee Road, have you watched Tiger King? That's why animal people are fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Darren. You know, like if we can help, and I think Brent said it last week. Well, you know, he said, you know, sometimes you just help somebody regardless of whether there's benefit to it. I think a lot of people want something back. A lot of people want something for information that, you know, help people only because they think that they could get a sale out of something, and that shouldn't. I don't think that should be the point of helping somebody. I think you should want to help somebody just because you want to make the hobby better, and you don't want somebody to go and kill a snake that could have maybe not died if he got the right information at the right time. So, are we all just regrouping now? Oh, here we go. There we go. There we go. We've got the mute in the corner there. That's just every now and then just reaching out with depth. You know,
it's hard to get a word in with the superpowers here tonight. You know, me and Cole just sit over here and
hey, I've still got your tissue.
We're just sitting in our little corner.
What about Jared Sharp? Is Jared still there? I want to talk to Jared more. I'm sick of hearing Manise and Darren's voice all night.
Okay, well,
I'm still here.
You there, Jared?
Yeah, you
just mute him.
What do we want to talk about, man?
Yeah, I'm here.
What'd you have for dinner, Jared?
Bugger all.
Bugger all. Same.
Probably just a couple of beers and straight to bed then, eh?
3:30.
What'd you say?
Been up since 3:30 to a freight run. So.
Oh,
yeah, nice.
Is there? How is the rat industry at the moment, Jared? Are you making a bit of money? Is it flourishing under the circumstances, or how's things going, mate?
No, I'm building my numbers up to get them to a good level where I want them. So I'm not really doing much at the moment at all.
Yeah. Well, why?
So I'd rather get them the what kind and what they are before I start releasing stuff.
Yeah.
He's too busy feeding his snakes.
Need to feed my own stuff first.
Good on you. So you should.
Feed my own stuff first. I've gone through
That's it, mate.
Nearly 900 rats in the last 3 months. So.
Yeah. Oh, gee. Yeah, I can't do that again, rats. No. But it's
good.
If you've got a large collection, then I think that's you know, if you need to feed that much and you need to know that there's going to be consistency with food, you know, then you just breed your own. I think that's the easier of way to avoid. If you can afford doing that, I mean, that's probably the better way to do it. What is Sankey saying? Sankey's been very, very active in here. I think
Sankey's all over this.
I think Chris Sankey just wants to buy another snake.
Yeah, he's got some money. He's not tattooing at the moment, is he?
No, he's not.
Chunky, where's my picture?
Oh, I don't think he's. I don't think he's. I don't think many people are working at the moment. As far I think Chris did say he's not working at the moment with the tattooing because high risk. But yeah, I don't know.
Just home visits, Chris. Home
Plenty of-
visits.
What'd you say, Brent?
Plenty of time for painting, Mr. Sunky. Lots of time painting.
Yeah.
Don't worry about painting.
No, he's got a couple of paintings he's working on. Very important projects.
I
Show
saw.
me the money.
I saw. I was. I was down there a few weeks back, just after the Penrith Expo, to just go and have a look at his collection, and I did see that. I did see that painting, just a little piece of it. It's nice.
Just right here.
It's a full.
Mr. Sunky.
It's a full nude of Brent on the beach.
You mean Dickie Les?
Sorry, did I spoil it? Sorry, mate. Sorry. I knew you wanted to have it a secret, but somebody asked you about the melanistic project. We did address that in a.
Oh, mate, rewind.
We did
Rewind the
address
tape.
that a few takes earlier, so you might have to go through all the.
5 streams back.
Yeah, no, let's not go there. I think it's fine now.
Oh, Manish didn't have his stream up to
Yeah,
1,000,000% HD.
yeah. I think I dropped. You should see the stats here that I've got in front. It's shocking. It's shocking. It's something to it's something to look at and analyze after this and see and take it step by step and try and fix the whole mess. But we'll get there. So I think there's more stuff coming. You let the cat out of the bag. Here we go. Yeah, Chris, he confirmed that it was indeed the painting of Brent nude on the beach. Sorry, mate.
You did say that there was heaps of scales on it, so that's probably correct.
I don't know. The scales. Here we go. Check out my son's tattoos. Brendan Bars. Amazing. Yeah, so it's a lot of tattoos, a lot of tattoo artists in the reptile industry. It seems. People like to, a lot of tattoos in the reptile industry. You don't have any tattoos, do you, Brent?
Just one small one.
Ah, yes. So we won't see anything.
Oh, so Texter, you've been drawing on your wrist, haven't you?
Yeah, every morning.
He's been
every
sitting
morning.
there, yeah. So we're not going to see any other tattoos on your nude when you finally show the
Oh,
world.
the nude was talking. Whoa.
There's a bit of fascination there about the nudes, isn't there?
Wow.
We probably have
We
snakes.
really are talking about snakes, aren't we?
Probably has the snakes draped
This
around him.
lockdown's had such an effect on people. It's the people being locked up for too long.
Oh,
I
shit.
didn't realise
too
we.
powerful.
I didn't realise we'd gone from talking about carpets to pathensis.
Oh.
Oh, here we go.
That's a Mitchell python. Mm.
A few moments later.
There we go. The sound effects going through.
I'm looking at Facebook. There's a couple of questions out there that sound interesting. Another one from Matt Trays.
Where are you finding It must be on
I
another.
don't know. It's scrolling up on my screen. I'm just going to say he's gone. Matt's got both genes. I take it granite and pepper. He loves them both the same. And he goes, out of Darren and Brent, who has the better collection?
I don't know.
It depends.
Well, it's obviously
God.
Brent, though.
I've got half of Darren's collection here, so I'm good.
He's
Oh,
got
there
more
we
than I
go.
have at the moment.
The cat's out of the
I was
bag.
thinking
There we
that
go. There we go. Something
Alright.
to.
So I think Josh for Stuker has come up. He's got, how do you guys go about selecting holdback animals knowing that they will change quite a bit over time? Who wants to
Keep
go
more.
first?
Keep them longer.
100%.
You keep everything.
Um,
You keep everything, and you only sell when you know it's going to be ugly. It's the best. Seriously.
They're all nice, just some are nicer.
But I mean,
the less nice ones, don't call them ugly.
but you guys know though. I mean, you keep them for a year. If you feed them well enough, you know by 8 to 12 months, you know if something's gonna pull its weight or not. I mean, looking at,
Yeah.
I mean, to give a good example, that zebra jag that you had at Penrith. I mean, that snake is at the perfect age to know, yeah, this thing's going to be crazy. You know, you would have, as soon as they start changing color, sort of a month, 2 months after that, you know something's going to be crazy. And that you'll
Yeah, well, with some of the fluoro line jags and that I work with, like I've got a ton of hatchies over here. I can tell them almost as soon as they've had their first shed out of the egg, because with the jags, the whiter they are, the brighter yellow they are. Simple. So I can look at it and go, these are going to be. I actually had a guy messaging the other day, and I sent him a few photos. Said these are all going to be crackers.
What
They're going to be
photos?
They're not nudes.
Oh.
Yeah, but
yeah, I agree with you in terms of time frame. If you really want to pick the eyes out of them, you need to keep them for 8 to 12 months minimum.
But you would have,
and that's proportionate to size as well.
But you would have done that before,
yes,
to know it now. I mean, that's that bank of information that you build up. So you would have raised a lot of them to be able to spot them at that size. I think a lot of I think a lot of people just don't bother keeping them back. You know, like they try and get them as, and then you never get that depth of knowledge as you would by just holding them back, and then selling them as you start seeing how they go. You know, it becomes easier and easier the more experience you've got with them, I think. Whose phone's...
Oh, 100%. Definitely. That's probably my phone going bing, 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 bing.
I can hear somebody's...
I think in time, luckily, you make, after you've made a particular morph for years, you get better at picking them because you've seen the adults, but also, I guess then you get to sell stuff. I sold an animal last night that 3 years ago I never would have sold. I know that animal is going to be absolutely fantastic, brilliant animal, but I just don't need another one. So, you get to the stage where you can start to sell some stuff that is a cracking animal. Zemex have got a granite of mine that's a male that I just didn't need another male. But it's probably near the best granite I've made, as far as a straight up granite, which is probably one of my favourite forms of it. But you just can't keep 5 males, So eventually, then you do start to have to sell some of that stuff. So it's I guess in time if you keep more stuff and grow it to adults, you get to see what it is, and you can look back then at the hatchies and work it out.
But it's like what Jared said before as well. I think we've all had large collections. To add another 100 and have racks. I think the more you need to have extra space before you can start to think what like I used to have empty racks, after a season of breeding. So the more space you have available to hold snakes back, the better. I think a lot of people make too many clutches and then they go, oh shit, I don't know where to keep these hatchlings. I mean, it should never be it should never be a worry that you don't have enough room for them. That allows you to keep them back over time and get that base of knowledge that so I just don't know. I think it's just poor planning. You plan properly, then you don't have to ever run into issues with not being able to house them for extended periods of time and learn, because it's all learning, learning, seeing how they grow, seeing how they change colors. With carpets especially, you never know what you get. You'll never know what a hatchling full potential is unless you've seen the similar hatchling raised to adulthood. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. 100%. Straight out of the egg, I'll often, when everything hatches, I normally leave them in the incubator until they have their first shed. Then I'll move them into their individual tubs. And I'll normally go through every single one and look at them then, and I'll write a little K on the bottom right-hand side of the tub. Because when it's hatched out, there was something about that animal. I'm like, oh, that might have been a stripe, might have been an eye colour, might have been a belly scale pattern, or something that I've looked at that I've gone, oh, that's different. I'll keep that. But 6 months down the track, 8 months down the track, suddenly one that you've not noticed before, you open the drawer and go, shit, that's bloody gorgeous.
Yeah.
So suddenly the one that was keeping is like, man, it's okay, but this one's nicer. So suddenly a change. And then when I make that change, I'll then go, I need to keep him for a bit longer. So I'll keep him for another few months, and then I'll reassess the situation. But you need to be able to have the option to hold on. And Josh has said on there, he made that mistake with his blueies this year. And you need to hold them. You need to hold the stuff back. If you want to improve your lines and make your lines better, if you breed stuff and sell it, you're selling potentially better quality animals than you're already breeding with. and you've just given that person the opportunity to breed better quality animals
Yeah.
than what you have.
I say
You've sold
never,
on.
never regret a sale. And all of us, everybody here,
Says the guy who never sells anything.
has had a regret about a sale. I've had it many times. And then you just get to the point where you go, no, I'm not selling anything. Yeah, that's it. I'm sure all of you, have had an animal, sold one animal that you go, fuck, I should have never sold that animal.
Yeah.
And then you kick yourself every time you see that picture pop up. Every time you see that animal pop up, you go, I should have never sold that animal. Jared, how do you have you ever sold anything that you regret, Jared?
Yeah, of course. We all do it. At the time, we go, have you got this available? Yeah, I got one. Then you let it go. Then 6 months later, yeah.
Shit, yeah.
Pretty catch that one.
You can't win them all.
I promise you, Jared, you won't regret the 2 you're going to sell me, surely. I mean it 100%, mate. You will never regret it.
You will, Jared. You'll be kicking yourself. Don't do it.
Jared,
Sorry.
but Jared,
Yeah, I probably will, but
but I reckon Jared would probably be able to hoard everything now. He's got a supply of rats on tap. He doesn't have to sell it. I mean, he can literally just go, nah, I'm never selling a snake ever again. But I guess it's you can't do that. But I mean that you would be able to if you really wanted to. I think that's the only way you never regret is if you held every snake, every snake that you ever made.
Oh my god!
What? Wouldn't you
I
do that?
try, but
Hold them all.
Yeah. Well, that was my worst problem. I've bred rats for on and off for best part since I started keeping. And when I first started doing it in a much larger scale, I think I had about 150 snakes.
Oh,
and since see you, Cole.
No, I can't. That's
You're
it.
looking
I'm
so
giving up
much.
on it.
You're looking so much better now.
I can do whatever I want now.
Since
Oh,
I
wow. I haven't heard that in a while.
yeah, since I started breeding rats and mice, my collection, in a much larger scale, jumped up, and I don't think I've seen south of 400 animals in the past 4 to 5 years. Because you just constantly there's so many things you want to work with, so many things you want to. Well, I do anyway. I can't help myself. It's like, oh, they're really cool. Keep those, and then a year later, it's like, do I really need that many of them? And you start to sell, but I just can't help myself. But I know now that I'm not breeding rats and mice commercially that I'll have to cut right back.
Oh, Darren.
I gave it a good punch this year, dude.
You tried hard.
I gave it a good one. I had 54 visual matings this year. And I think I did I think it was like 43 or 44 clutches or something like that.
I probably restricted you from the Magic 1,000, taking a few of those girls from you too. It's my fault. I apologise.
100%. There's
big
80 eggs
hitters
in
too.
2 of them.
Yeah, very big hitters. No, well,
Yeah. That's all right.
this year.
Sold. Did I say that out loud?
This year.
Nah, I won't. I'll be. Definitely, it's going to be a quieter year for me this year. I'll be certainly concentrating on mutations and the pepper stuff and a few other bits and pieces.
I think we've permanently lost Colin now.
Oh, I've given up now.
Because
both my batteries are flat. So.
Because his camera can't run off mains power like mine. I can go forever.
Oh, here we go.
It's a constant argument who's got better cameras here with this. So we can see now. There we go. I'm still going. Maybe not. Am I still lagging? Have I fixed that issue now? Am I?
No, they seem to be fine.
No, you can't make that up anyway. So
yeah, I'm. But I think
I'm
now
just with Jared now, just black.
Yeah. But
yep, that works.
I think that was a good run. I think we'll try it again at some stage. We can only learn from the little glitches that we've had here tonight. It would be nice to just have one solid stream and not have to break. But I know how to do it now. I know where we need to be with the bit rates and stuff. But that's
I like
Brent's
Brent's graphics. They've been great.
I like the yes. That was the pop-ups. The pop-up graphics that we had was great. Yeah.
And every time he drinks that green drink, it green screens over it. It's been awesome.
If you lift it up,
In the times of lockdown, we've got to go back to basics, mate. Back to basics.
yeah.
Just knows Darren Boswell's comment. I have a question. So, how do you get the better half over the line in regards to having 900 animals? It's a quite slow progression. When I first got into my very first snake, I said to my wife, I've loved reptiles all my life since I was a little kid, and was never allowed to have them. My parents were always, the only good snake's a dead snake, and when I finally bought my house in '97, I moved in with my wife. I said, I'd really like to get a snake. I've always wanted a snake, and I bought a diamond python, and had that nice enclosure and everything for it, and I said, I wouldn't mind getting some bearded dragons. And I think within 12 months, I'd amassed almost 30 reptiles. And once you start kind of getting there, I modify and change everything. So this is the trick. I used to have
That's when I met you. I bought your shinglebacks off you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Geez, that was a long time ago. Used to have, in this room where these rackies, I used to have 3 glass fish tanks, which I used to have bearded dragons in. And I said, if I get rid of these glass tanks, I can actually do a rack system and change around, and I could quadruple the amount of animals I have here. So, that's why now, where there used to be, I don't know, a dozen lizards, there's now 60 in that rack and 60 in the one beside it. So I think you just got to be sneaky. Get them in, and you don't tell your wife when you've got enough animals. You don't tell that you've amassed more, and they go,
she'd be
from. Oh, I've had that for ages.
No.
She'd be able to watch this afterwards. So I'll probably have to destroy the evidence. But every expo, I've literally seen you in trouble at every expo I've seen you at. From your wife.
It's all from talking. That's why.
Every time I've seen you, it's a constant thing. You just have to watch you, and every at some stage there's going to be an issue, and I'm like, Darren's in trouble. Darren's in trouble.
Yeah.
Everybody sort of scatters.
Someone will come
over. Yep.
Jared will come over, and I'll talk to Jared, or be Faye, or Brent, or Dave, Raptors Reptiles. We have a chat, and everyone will be packed up. I'll still be there, standing there talking. Nessa's packed the car. The kids have packed the car, and then I'm getting in trouble. Come on, the car's packed. Oh, okay. All right, I've got to go. I'll be there in 5 minutes, and half an hour later because I'm talking to someone else. It's a social gathering, It's good to catch up with people you don't get to see all the time.
But at the end of an expo, it's always a time when it's the best time to talk to somebody because the day's over. You don't have to talk to customers and stuff.
Or confront someone.
Yeah.
Confront
somebody.
Fixes problems.
If it came down to it, if it come down to it in a throwdown, I reckon Ness would kick your ass, Daz.
Who's that?
If it really went the knuckle, I'm going Ness 100%.
He'll choke you out 2 seconds.
Log you.
Yeah, I'd probably back down for that one too. I know the family.
From experience.
Yeah.
So
he's got a huge, massive family.
So I think we'll. I don't know how you guys feel about that. We've gone 2.5 hours, so it was fun. I think.
Oh my god!
It's
that's because Daz is here.
This is the royal.
Was someone else here? I thought it was just me and my niece.
You've got you've got the mute in the corner down there. He's sitting there with these visual aids.
Sharpie still alive.
Yeah.
I don't know, surprisingly much arts and crafts is happening.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, there we go.
There's a green drink. Look at the green screen.
He's got nothing in there. Yeah.
Things are a bit quiet at Brent's work, so he's drinking the coolant.
Yep. So did we cover all the questions? So we've got the 900. We've covered that. I think that is a good way to do it. You have to run a very discreet service and just be deceptive as much as you can to hide the animals. You don't want to show anybody. You want to change things up so things move around the whole time, so they never get used to the setup. It's a great idea. Yes, I think once you get to a certain number, they all blend into each other. Yeah, for the untrained eye, and it's also good for the department. If they ever come and do a spot check, if you mix things up, they can never quite understand where.
That's experience talking right there, isn't it?
Wow.
Hey, Hey, you know,
Hey.
you have to push the boundaries a little bit, you know. Oh,
Oh,
there we
he's
go. He's
gone.
blanked himself out. The mute's blanked himself out. Yeah. Jared just
I
sitting.
think once you start to breed, it gets much easier that you can say, oh, those 7 new ones in the corner, I just bred them. They're just from a clutch from last year, you know, like
Yeah, I don't.
the 2 new ones coming from Jared, surely I bred them. You know, they hatched out. I've just been growing up in a different area, you know.
Shazam.
And how do we
calling
feel?
your wife tomorrow.
And how do we feel about secret bank accounts? Has that been approached? You know, have we got a secret
this guy.
stash of money somewhere in a, you know, like a separate account that nobody knows about? That's sort of an emergency
Yeah.
fund for something that pops
How
up.
much did you sell that pair of silver peppers for? Yeah, $50.
There's no money because the money went straight back into something else. Yeah, I know.
What's a bank?
Why is your rat bill so high?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a
What do
tax
you mean
write.
You spent 10 grand on rats and mites.
It's a tax
I don't know that
write-off.
many snakes.
Yeah, the snake died. It's a tax write-off, and then you buy something else. Yeah, whatever. You tell me so.
Oh.
Tell the tax man, oh no, it died. Yeah, no, how many snakes you make? Yeah. I wonder when they'll start cracking down on reptile sales. I've thought this would have happened years ago already. I mean, I'm sure all of us do our taxes, you know.
Yes.
But I've that's fair. That hobby, you know, that's supposed to be $70,000 extra a year. But I've always wondered, you know, when will the tax department, maybe after this 4 months of recession that we're heading into, maybe then they'll start going, we need to get that money from these reptile people. Have you ever thought about that? You know, like, are you ever worried that that the government eventually figures out that, you know, people are making money from reptiles? I mean, what do you guys think of that?
No, because I show them a rat
I don't know what
bill
you're talking about.
and my $150 an hour labour rate.
Oh, yeah, so it
All
offsets.
the money's gone out the window.
It offsets.
I think the government's about to fund a whole bunch of snake sales with the stimulus package that's going out there anyway. So they're half of the problem anyway.
Yeah, because
They're supporting the hobbyist.
Yep. They'll be.
They don't even know what they've done.
Yeah.
Because I know what I did though. Here's my price list for every snake this year.
$750. That's a sweet number, isn't it? Yeah.
It's the magic number.
Tell me, what do you guys think the pricing's gonna? What do you think the market's gonna do this year with the pricing? With I mean, it's a little bit of a, you know, guessing game now. But I mean, how's it been? I haven't really been selling snakes. How's it been over the last few years? Have you found it easier to sell snakes? Harder to sell snakes? More competition? Where do you guys see it going?
Our Sharpie, he sells more than all of us.
Where is he? Is he there still?
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
But I sell bugger all. I hold too much like Aaron.
That's right. Sell?
You
What's
horses.
that? You actually supposed to sell them, are you? I thought you just kept them forever.
But seriously, how do you find the sales at the?
That's pretty.
But seriously, how do you find the sales at the? I mean, not to pry. I mean, what like just in general? How have you find the sales over the last few, like say the last 5 years? Has it been? You know, I know that the specialized stuff tend to sell at, you know, private deals, but at the expos, have you found it hard to move the animals on the tables? Have you had stuff there, or, you know, what do you reckon?
I personally, I haven't seen what I would, you know, not taking into account that, you know, when we first started doing expos, you'd sell black and gold jungles for $500 and $550 each.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I think you're still selling a similar number of animals. I mean, you always get those that sell their entire collection and then get a B double back in to restock their reptile displays.
Yeah.
There was people
You know,
that went from expo to expo to expo one year.
Yeah, but for me personally, I find I sell a very similar amount of animals at every expo, and you know, priced accordingly.
Yeah. What is that?
2.
Second
That's 2.
that.
Two animals every show. Darren Whittaker.
Do you I was just thought of something to ask and I forgot now. Keep
A
going.
few moments later.
That's a smoke coming
I'll
out of
eat
my
that.
brain.
That
It's
was
been
good.
an early morning for me, but way earlier than as soon as I woke up, there's been messages from Darren like from an hour before I woke up. And I'm like, good Lord, this guy's up early. And Jared, I think, got a message.
4:30.
Yeah. Oh.
Dad's loves it.
There was a question I was thinking about. So, oh fuck. Okay. Somebody say something. It's just staring at me, trying to think. I had a good question. I had a good
I have
question.
a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. If you could do one pairing this season, and that was all you could do, what would it be? In your collection now, what you currently have, what is, if you could only do one pairing, what would it be?
Brent.
Albino Granite to Silver Pepper. Jared Charles?
Hyper to hyper.
Hyper to hyper. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, just to sort out the men from the mice. The mice from the men. Darren, what would you make?
I'm hoping, if all goes well, caramel double out pepper xanthics, I think, to a ghost pepper. That would be my hope.
And if
for
you
this season.
and that, what are you imagining? What do you reckon it would look like? Your suspicions. What is your theory? What do you think? What in your mind? What do you think it will turn out to be like?
Well, I imagine the patterns are going to be the same, but I imagine it's going to be a lot. I'm hoping it's going to be a lot whiter, pale. Ideally, I'd like to see something that's pastel white with grey speckles, sort of thing. Like if
like
that makes
really washed out one,
sort of sense. Yeah. So where you have the silver background, hopefully something that's a lot more whiter, and where the black speckling is something that's a shade of grey.
He's back.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, and that's one of the reasons why I'm keen to see. Who's that bloke?
I literally got 5 minutes, so let's wrap this up.
Before your battery goes flat again.
Let's go for 5 minutes plus. Yeah. No, that's a good call. I wish I had something to add, but we all know my situation. I'll have to just weather the storm for the next few years. But but as I said, I've got the racking.
You said you went and saw Chris Sankey's collection. Maybe he wouldn't. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't mind. Maybe you could pick something out of his that you would like to see. Or what would you like to see out of all of our collections? What would be your most anticipated or keen to see pairing?
What I'd like to see. I mean, you did make a valid point earlier. With we have seen a lot of the granite stuff. Like we've seen Axanthe granites. I would like to see an Aussie line Axanthe granite. Okay, I would like to see it's a local. I'd like to see Hypo Zebra granite, but with the McLeod line Hypo stuff, because I think it would be crazy washed out. The silver stuff, I mean, any of the silver stuff, because it's especially the stuff that hasn't been seen. So any combination with the silvers that we haven't seen. So we've seen the albino. I'd like to see the albino grow a little bit because I think that the color will really come in as it gets older. I mean, we know what the Murrays do when they get older. They get a lot of that orange come into it. I'd like to see more of the albino bredli stuff. I think the outcrossing now would take a few more years to get that stuff to the level where it's doing different stuff. I don't know. Has anybody outcrossed the albino bredli to anything else yet, or is it just visual albino bredli now? Brent?
Some plans. I tried last year a few things, but the young males were just useless. 2 boys I kept back they seem to have a love of mice, so they haven't really kicked on this year. Hopefully, we'll outcross to several things and also try and make some 75% Bredli hets. So that'll be the next holdbacks to go down the line to see how they pan out. So.
I'd like to see the anery pairing to see if that proves out. That'd be good. I'd like to see Jared get a clutch of melanistic, like anything, like even if it's heads, from that male.
Secure the line.
It'd be good. I think those black snakes would add a real I'd like to see pied. I'd love to. If I reckon the biggest thing in the carpet industry would be somebody
That's the
hatching.
market breaker, pied carpet.
I'd love to see that happen, and I'd love to see that happen. No offense to some random kid that has it and just it pops up in his collection. No, like I mean, I'd like to see, and not him being taken advantage. We know how it is. You see that albino Bible blue tongue that popped up, and people are throwing money at the woman until she goes, no, it's going to the Australian Reptile Park. But I do think it's probably going to be a better thing for it to happen in one of you guys, because at least then we know that, you won't be swayed easily by, pressure to get rid of it, or like I mean, I do think that's needed at the moment, just to get some new life into the carpets as well. Just a random pied mutation, or even something that enhances color. With the Golden Child stuff that the retics have. Like real exaggerated colors and stuff. But something new, just something new just a new mutation for the carpets, because I mean everything's really been done over in the US. The Europeans, Paul Harris has been very quiet in the last few years, and I think it's up to the Aussies now to sort of drive that whole new. I mean, Darren, I mean you've got your hand, you've got your work cut out for you. Like I mean, there's major work ahead.
Yeah. I've got plenty of stuff going on.
And striping as well. I'd like to see a genetic line of striping. You've got the bred lines, a recessive striping. That's there we go. Thank goodness that happened.
Get rid of the deadwood. See you, Colin.
Yeah. But striping as well, like a full on genetic striping, not just anything polygenic, or like I like the polygenic stuff, but it'd be nice to have something that's reproducible. I mean that's. We just put a new dimension on pied. We put a new dimension on the peppers. Although you did have that one there that was very striped now, but wouldn't that be nice if you knew that was definitely you could remake that in an albino or whatever? It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
It will happen.
What's Colin breeding these days?
What's that?
What's Colin breeding?
Oh yeah, Colin's gone.
Anything?
Is he there?
The man in the dark room.
What are you?
What's happening?
I was just feeding a snake.
You're feeding a
snake? You didn't even know. Sorry, I nearly died.
What
is that? What you call it?
Oh
yes.
I'm just feeding my snakes. Yeah, that's the new. Mum's the word. What are you up to? I'm just feeding my snakes. Yeah, okay. Tell us, Cole. What are you planning to make this year? Are you still breeding stuff?
Yeah, I got albino olives and scrub pythons that are on my list to have a crack at this year.
Scrubbies. I like scrubbies. I think scrubbies are very unrepresented. I think what happened to the albino scrub python? Is that thing still going?
It died a long time ago. Died a number of years ago.
I thought he made
in the past, mate.
I thought he made. I thought he made hets though.
No, never bred.
My memories.
Unfortunately,
they're definitely a rusty. That Brent looks like he wants to fall asleep now. He's died.
All right. Are we wrapping this up?
Why did you want to go feed your snake again? Huh?
Yeah. I did shut the tub, but it's not getting out. So
yeah, no. Okay, but I think we had a good. It was a good shit talk. Sorry about all the technical issues. I was here busy for 2 hours before the show, going, no, this is going to be great, and then whatever. We know what happened. So, but it's still something new.
Blame Colin.
At least
blame Melbourne. Like obviously Melbourne's internet's shitter than ours. So.
Because you live out in
it's got the virus as well.
It's because you live out in the bush. There's nothing there. Like there's one person using the internet. In my area, is probably drowning the internet.
Was that his internet? I heard coughing before, Colin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuttering the internet.
There he goes.
Don't call that guy an ambulance.
Oh shit! All right, so let's wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for coming on for the inaugural roundtable shit talk with I think you guys are some of the top guys around. So, but thanks for giving me your time. Thanks for giving people. Thanks for sharing your knowledge on the show tonight. And
No worries.
well, hopefully we'll pull it together at some stage and do a better stream that's not as
That was good. That
glitchy.
was good for a first one.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. But I'll criticize. I'll be under my own scrutiny.
You'll be up all night over this.
I'll be going. I need to figure this out right now. You know. Good luck. Good luck with this coronavirus. Keep safe. You know, don't do anything that I wouldn't do. You know,
Wash your hands.
wash the hands. Everybody out there, have a safe weekend. Enjoy it with the family. I mean, the good thing about this whole virus is that we spending more time with people's. You know, our families and stuff. So we have to make it count. You know. So oh, here's a last question. Yeah. Do you still have Blueies, Colin? How many times have people asked you that last?
Oh, mate. No, I do not.
And I'm
I
thinking,
got a life.
I've got some blue tongues, and I'm sort of going, yeah. I'm thinking maybe I should.
Yes.
I need a new
Out
camera.
the door, mate.
I want to. I think I need to. I think I need to offload them. I've ordered them for long enough. So, okay, Darren, thank you very much. Brent, thank you. Jared, sorry, I'll figure out a way to get you into this a little bit easier next time, and the sound quality a little bit better. I think next time you should just use one of the mics that come with a little headphone that comes with a. You're not using the headphone, are you?
No.
Yeah, I reckon if you plug in the headphone that came with the phone, I think you'd have a lot better sound quality on that side. But it was
AirPods?
it was good. It was good for
Around somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, that'll work as well. So
it was good for a 2.5 hour session. Darren, good luck at work tomorrow, mate.
Big thank you.
Are you working tomorrow, Brent?
No, weekend off.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And Jared,
Can,
I guess you always working, Jared.
Always got something to do.
Yeah, I mean, when you got snakes and animals, it never really stops.
Mm.
Thank you, guys.
Always working on something.
Let me just see. How do I end this? Oh, here we go. You just press end meeting. I'll stop the stream first. Thank you, guys. Thanks, folks, and we'll see you next week. And we'll try and work out something with this. The shows that are clashing. I know people are complaining that there's, Troy's got his show. I've got my show. We need to come to some sort of middle ground where everybody can enjoy the shows, and the people don't have to feel like they're choosing sides. So it's something I'll probably address this week and figure that out, because there's no need for we shouldn't, everybody's got a place in this world. We just need to figure it out. But thanks again, guys.
100%.
I really appreciate you guys coming on. And yeah, I'm still thinking about this. The Carpet Fest has still been, hopefully all of you are still involved, are going to try and be involved with that. But I think it's probably going to be shifted out a little bit further now with all these prohibited, events. We're not allowed to have events. Or I've considered maybe even doing it online. I don't know how I'm going to work that, but I'll figure it out. Otherwise, we'll just hold it later in the year. The idea was that it was being held in June so that it's sort of, you guys it's not right into breeding season, because I know it's harder to get away when you're doing pairings and stuff like that. So I think that was the idea, but it will happen. I think it's necessary especially the people that want to be face to face in the hobby. So, all right.
Definitely.
But I'll stop the stream now. Thanks everybody for watching. And there we go. Good night all. There we go. I like those prompts. Okay.